Hey everyone, in this video we're going to cover muscles of the forearm. This gets pretty dense as we start to go through these pages. Um, so um, buckle in um, and we'll just go ahead and get started. So here we have our wrist flexors. So think of your arm in anatomical position. So if you're sitting, put your arm on the table with your palm facing up and then look at your forearm. These are the muscles that we're going to be talking about is in there. First things first, before we get into 4, 5, and 6, here's a picture of my arm. Um, take your arm like this. This is the anterior position. And then take your other hand, okay, and put your fingers on there just like this, okay? This is going to help you to remember the superficial layer of the muscles in your forearm. So, first one right here, that's going to be your pronator teres. Your next one, it's coming straight over to that radial side where the thumb is. So, it's going to be your flexor carpi, because it connects into your carpals, radialis. Then we have our palmaris longus, which is not in a muscle that's in everybody. It's actually a muscle that's going away, which is kind of crazy. Um, and then this is going to be a muscle that connects into that medial epicondyle, still part of this group right here of that central tendon of the flexors. So it's coming down, it's connecting into the carpals. It's on the radial, excuse me, it's on the ulnar side because the pinky's right there. So it's going to be a flexor carpi ulnaris. So if you remember this, you're sitting in your test, you're like, oh, which one is this one? Well, pronator teres, that one's going to go to your radius, that one's your ulna, so this must be palmaris longus. Okay, coming back to this, now you can start to see it. So now they've just put that hand down, but still imagine your fingers right here, index, here's your middle, ring finger, and your pinky. Okay, so number one, they've got that labeled right there. That's the lateral epicondyle. Number two, medial epicondyle. Three, you're going to want to box these in right here. It's going to be your common flexor of the tendons. Number five is going to be palmaris longus, this one in the middle. Number four, it's coming from that medial epicondyle down into the carpals on the radius side. So flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, just because it's coming all the way down into the palm. Number six, from that medial epicondyle all the way down into the pinky side, so flexor carpi palmaris. Seven's radialis. Eight is your ulna, which is kind of right there. Is right there. Number nine, that's going to be your palmar aponeurosis. And this is where palmaris longus comes in and connects in there. And if you want to know if you have this muscle, you touch your pinky to your thumb, and if you see a muscle that flexes in your forearm, then you have it. If you don't see the muscle, you're probably one of the ones that's involved in evolution, where we don't need it anymore. Uh, Number 10, that's going to be your thenar eminence. These are the muscles in your hand. Um, it's a group of muscles. So you have your thenar side, which is your thumb side, and then you have your hypothenar, which is your pinky side. All right, moving on down. Let's just go ahead and get um, these muscles taken care of. So as the name suggests, the radius rotators. So this is what allows you to turn your hand palm down and palm up. Um, Terminology that you're going to want to know is supination and pronation. So think of it as if your palm up, kind of like how we were just a few moments ago looking at the forearm flexors, and you cup your hand. Think of it as you're holding liquid in your hand, that your cupping hand is a bowl. That's called supination. You're holding soup. And then if you turn your hand over to where your palm down, keeping the cup shape, that's pronation. You're pouring that soup out of your hand. So supination, pronation. This hand that we're looking at right now, that one is going to be in supination. And this is where they show that pronator teres muscle right there. Okay. But let's go through the numbers. So number one, that's going to be your lateral epicondyle right there. Number two, that is going to be your medial epicondyle. Pronator teres comes right from there. Three is going to be your supinator, and it's more on this posterior side, as we can see. Four, again, that's going to be part of that superficial layer. And then number seven, that's going to be your pronator quadratus. So think of it as your muscles that start with a P on your forearm flexors. Your one that's more proximal is also going to be the most superficial. Your P muscle that is more distal, it's going to be more deep. It's going to be in that fourth layer of the muscles. Okay, and it looks square, so they call it pronator quadratus. Here is your ulna, here's your radius. As you rotate your hand from pronation to supination, supination to pronation, this radius is going to have this effect where it comes down, and that ulna is going to have the effect where it comes up in that rotation. And then as you bring it back, it's going to be the opposite way. So that's it for this page. There's one more page I want to cover. That way we can keep all of the forearm flexors for the same video. All right. So like we said, there are layers for the forearm flexors. Got that superficial layer that has all the muscles that are coming from this number 3 up here. And we've got that pronator teres as well. That's your superficial layer. Number 8 is going to be the second layer all by itself. Number 9 and 10 is going to be the third layer. And then we've got pronator quadratus, which is the fourth layer. So let's dive into the numbers. We've already covered this in the past 2 videos, but here it is again. Lateral epicondyle, medial epicondyle, common flexor tendon is number 3. Number 4, that is going to be your coronoid process. Number 5, interosseous membrane. We talked about this with the arteries, if you remember. We've got that brachial artery comes down, makes the ulnar artery, then the radial artery, then we've got that common interosseous artery, then the anterior interosseous, and then the posterior interosseous. Yeah, it all comes back to each other, promise you. So, number 5 we covered, 6 ulna, 7 radius. All right, now is number 8. So, forget that the gray is here right now. I want you just to imagine that this gray is pink. We're looking at the second layer. This is going to be your flexor digitorum superficialis. So, flexor digitorum superficialis. It's coming from that medial epicondyle, coming down. It's connecting into that radius, comes down, and then it's branching into digits 2 through 5. And notice it splits. It doesn't even come to the distal um, phalange. It's comes down and splits. So how you how you remember that is it's flexor digitorum superficialis. The S stands for the split. Now, in this third layer, you have number 9, which is coming to your thumb, and then number 10. 10 lies just directly under 8. So number 10 is going to be your flexor digitorum profundus. Profundus meaning deep. Okay. So if you think about it as flexor digitorum deep, it means that it's coming all the way to that distal end. Okay. That's how I remembered it. Number 9, that is going to be your flexor pollicis longus. Pollicis is just another name for that finger, which is your thumb. And then indices is going to be another name for your index finger. So I think that's it for this video. It's a little bit longer, but we did cover 3 pages. So if you're a little confused still, go check out the complete anatomy video I'll do on this. It'll help you understand a little bit more. But until then, we'll see you later. All right, I just want to give credit where credit is due. These are the books and the resources I used for the videos. So first we have Essentials of Human Anatomy by Dr. Kurt Walker. We then have Essential Clinical Anatomy by Keith L. Moore and M.R. Auger and Arthur F. Daly. I also used Structure and Function of the Human Body by Mark Nilsson and Jamie Garbett. The last book I have is The Concise Book of Trigger Points by Simon Neil Asher. And then I used the app called Complete Anatomy. As you've seen from the videos, it's amazing. If you can afford it, I suggest it. It's such a useful tool when learning this stuff. So that's it. Have a good day.